Hey there. Oh, I'm back on Facebook today. I missed you guys yesterday. I was on Instagram Live, but I'm back today. And I wanted to kind of take a little bit of a closer look at how we as a society like to numb ourselves from what's happening in our lives, or numb ourselves from situations that we don't necessarily want to look at. And this fact that so many of our country is on antidepressant medication. I don't know what the statistic is. Maybe I should have looked it up, but it's a lot of us. A lot of us are on antidepressant medication, and I was on antidepressant medication for a long time in the midst of all of my craziness. And it's just, I want to look at this idea that it's actually a call to look at something deeper in your life, or look at what's going on deeper in your life. And I used to be, the queen of numbing. I took pills. I would have a glass of wine every night when I got off work. Hey, Carla, good to see you. And I was actually addicted to Adderall for a while also, which I don't think I've actually talked about for a couple years. Which is, I don't know if that's numbing. I guess it's numbing on some level, but it's also like this. It's kind of like speed, really. It's like taking speed. And so for a while there, it was so crazy because I was on antidepressant medication, pain pills to slow me down, and then Adderall to speed me up. And I like to just bring it all on Facebook. I like to just tell all the things because I know that there might be somebody out there that is also dealing with the same thing. And so, Adderall was a crazy journey. And I know that it's super popular with college students to study and things like that. And I don't even know how I got my hands on it. I think a friend of mine at the time was taking it, I want to say illegally, but just taking it for reasons other than what it is prescribed for. And it's really scary how easy it was for me to get a prescription to it. This is a whole nother video going down the prescription drugs in America. But like doctor shopping, getting it wherever I could. It was really, really kind of scary. And so I know that it is something that's super popular, and it was another thing that I had to overcome, and I did, but it's like speed. And so it's just this thing that can keep you in its grip, and it makes you think that you're this person who's out there and you're in the world and you're excited and you're boisterous and you're talkative, and it is so not real. And I can tell you right now, life is so much better without all of those things. The antidepressant medication is another thing. I used to, like I said, drink wine every time I got home from work. Oh, Carla says she just heard about it. Yeah, the Adderall thing. And I've talked about it before, that pain pills and Adderall, there's this epidemic now with prescription medications. But even having a glass of wine when I got home from work every day, I don't know, I kind of want to call that out. And this is nothing against people who drink wine, but if you're feeling like when you get off work, you can't wait to get home and have a glass of wine, you just can't wait to open that door and pop that bottle and have a glass of wine to relax and just let it all go and to numb, I'm calling that out right now because I feel like we need to look at our lives a little deeper. Maybe there's a possibility that this job is not the right job for you. Maybe this is a possibility that you might be in the wrong career. And I know that life is serious, right? And we have to keep our jobs, and this is how we get paid and all the things. But I'm going to encourage some of you who do feel like they need to numb out from work, or that work is causing you to need to take these pills or be on antidepressant medication, that maybe it's time to look a little deeper. I think that we stay in these situations out of scarcity and lack, that there isn't going to be another job, or there isn't another way, or we've just had it in our minds that we just stay so focused and this is the only way we can go. But the world is huge, and there are so many opportunities out there. And I do think that this, when we take these medications and try to numb ourselves, it's a call to go within, definitely, obviously. But I love this because my mentor always says this. She says, take the path of least resistance. And if the path of least resistance is shifting what's going on in your outside world, then by all means, let's start there, right? And this could be in a relationship, or anything that's showing up in your life, or, issues with kids, having struggles at home with the family. Sometimes if you're not able to access that inner part of you, it's better to just see what you can start shifting on the outside that will allow you a little bit more peace, that will allow you to come home to yourself and start looking at the real reasons why this numbing is happening, or why these intoxicants are happening. Whatever it is, weed, pills. And all the things. I mean, even if it's anxiety, it doesn't have to be that you're taking toxins. It could just be that you're getting anxiety. And I know now that whenever I'm getting anxiety, there's something going on that I need to look at in my life. And I really need to sit with myself and get real with what I'm looking at and stop. Like, I think anxiety happens to me when I'm not really taking a good look at myself or my life. And I'm not being real and honest with myself, which is totally how I got stuck into all of those drugs and depression that I was in previously a while ago. And also I think that I think that if we were able to talk about these things, that it would also be something that could alleviate this pressure. These types of things create so much isolation. Like, you think that you're the only one that has to come home and have a glass of wine, or that you're the only one that can't handle what's going on in their lives right now. But if we are able to just be open about it and talk about it, I think that there will be so much shame around it. But I think when I think about families and friends and the pressure that you feel to tell somebody about it, I can see how it can be intimidating. But I want to say that family and friends love us. And if they know that something is completely taking us away from ourselves and causing us to go into these dark holes of isolation, they're going, as opposed to judging, they're going to want to open their arms. And you know who these people are. I mean, I'm not saying go and tell everybody, but these people are here to support us. This is why we're in life. This is why we're in community. This is why we are created this way, to have families and friends. And I know that some of us don't have maybe families and friends, but there's always someone. There's always someone to talk to about this stuff, right? And I think it takes so much pressure off. And I have friends now that we can talk about all of this stuff because we've all been there. We've all been there and we've all overcome this idea that we need these outside substances to make ourselves feel okay, to make ourselves feel like life is going well. It's a huge call to look at what's happening. It's a huge call. And I think that I'm trying to think back to when I made the decision to not. I do believe that my story is a little bit different because I feel that I had a spiritual awakening. But I can also say that I actually made a decision. Like, I made a decision. I reached my threshold basically with the Adderall and the antidepressants and the needing wine to numb and the pill, all the things, right? I reached a moment that I was like, screw this. I know this is not who I am. I know this is not why I'm here, and I'm over it. And I'm telling you, it just takes making that decision. It takes making a decision to move forward. And it takes making a decision in anything, I'm realizing, for the life that you want, to leave whatever it is behind. It takes making a decision to leave the relationship, whatever it is. But it's reaching that point. And then life can open up. Then life can show you another way. But the longer we hold on and feel that we need these things to keep us normal and to keep us sane, the worse it gets, right? Hey, Deanne, good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. I just really wanted to, bring more of my past into the light here and share some of that because it's so important to go deeper. It's so important to look within. I think it's going to be an amazing day when we can start getting so many people off of these antidepressant medications and to realize that they don't need an outside substance to help them live their life, right? Life can be so much bigger and so much better without these things. So what else do I want to say about that? Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is this victim mentality that we are a victim to our life or that we are a victim to our circumstances. And I know that when I was on all of these medications and doing all of these things, I was definitely in victim mode. I was definitely a victim to my circumstances, to my outside world. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't hang on. I couldn't work. I had to stop working. It was intense. And it's giving our power over to these things. It's giving our power over to these to life, to these outside circumstances, when I do believe now I can see really clearly that we are in control of our lives. And that's such a relief to me to know, because we can make these decisions and we can make changes ourselves. And it's very empowering to know that we create our life and that we are in control. And if we find ourselves in situations where we don't know how the hell we got there, like I did years ago, it's okay. It's okay to just love ourselves through it and to not be so hard on ourselves. There's so much shame around. There could be shame around, taking antidepressant medication. And I know that it is a big help and is necessary for many people. So I'm not saying that hands down, we all need to get off antidepressant medication, but there is another way out there. And when you start feeling empowered and when you start feeling like you can, when you can be in control of your life, everything starts to shift and you realize that you are not a victim to these things. You are not a victim to these substances. And I think it just takes this understanding and kind of coming from this place of understanding, but I always go back to this, getting still and going within, getting still, taking stock of your life. Whether that looks like prayer, whether that looks like meditation, whether that looks like just talking to your inner self or talking to yourself, telling yourself that you're in the situation right now, but you're going to get out of it. You love yourself through it. You have to love yourself through it, because so many times we do not know how we got into these situations. They just happen and you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, who am I? What am I doing? How did I get here? And we have to just remember to love ourselves through that, because we are our biggest support, right? It has to come from within. So, yeah, feeling empowered, realizing there's another way. It's all super important. Yeah, Carla says a lot of young people have Adderall access. Just learned this yesterday. Yep. Yeah, and Deanne says we are on a plane to Minnesota listening to a TED talk about victim, perpetrator, rescuer. Oh yeah, Deanne was talking to me about this, about the victim and the rescuer. So, yeah, this is big stuff. But I am holding the intention that we are all going to be able to overcome these things someday. And I'm definitely here to talk about what I've been through so that I can help others through whatever they're going through. And yeah, with the Adderall thing, it's crazy. And I do hope that people don't become addicted to it like I did, and that they can just leave it. And know that they don't really need that. This is a whole nother topic. Going down the Adderall prescription pill conversation is a whole nother live video, but I will share my experience with it so that people know, so that people are aware. And if any parents are watching this and their children are on Adderall, just to make sure, if they're teenagers or they're in college, just to make sure that, just watch if your child starts to change a little bit. I definitely know that I can see it now when other people are on it. And I know that it is prescribed for certain people, and I'm sure that it does. I don't want to speak to the medical part of it, but I know that I can speak to the abuse part of it, because I definitely have been there, and it's rampant. So sending hope to those out there that are in it, that are in a depression or in a, dealing with anxiety or dealing with these addictions. You will be okay. You will get through it. I'm here. I'm living proof. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow. Reach out if anybody needs to talk about anything that's going on with them, okay? I am here. I can share all that I've been through, and maybe it will be a help to you. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.